Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese episode 360. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Sellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. Matt, what's your favorite Xbox 360 title? Go.
360?
Xbox 360. It's episode 360. You gotta have a 360 title. Go. Go.
Instinct,
Go.
Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Whoa, wow. The correct answer we're looking for is Spelunky. That was the one that came, when I thought of it, that was the one that popped up. I guess the correct answer
I
would probably
could have
be
said Halo
Symphony
3.
of the Night.
Oh, man. You put me on the spot. Damn.
Look, man, 360, that's what we do. We're on the spot now, all right?
What a game feel would be an acceptable answer.
Yes, it would. Now more than ever. Because, Matt, we saw the Xbox Game Showcase this week. First look at Halo Infinite. We get to sip on some Monster Energy drink featuring Master Chief. Asterisk, not really, because we couldn't find that one. But a lot of fun stuff this week. A little Nintendo Direct Mini that surprised us out of nowhere. We'll talk about later.
I think our podcast is already longer than that Direct.
Yep, minute and yeah, that is correct. Yeah, we'll talk about some games. We'll talk about what we've played. But how are you, Matthew?
Operating at a cool 80% over here, brain capacity. I'm feeling much better, but 2 hours before recording, I was a hot mess of hungover.
Yeah, you drank a bus, is what you told me before we hit record.
I don't know what happened. I guess I got to break kayfabe here. I was celebrating opening day, like I know the only way how to is to fucking eat hamburgers, hot dogs, and drink beer. It's like kind of like the 4th of July, but without all the
orange.
patriotism.
Yeah,
and I don't know what happened. I didn't think I drank an incredibly high amount. I mean, I drank a bunch, but yeah, I woke up. I felt like shit. Victoria's not feeling great either today. It's the new household is hit its new low right at this very hour.
Well, you can only go up from here. You know, you got to look at it that way.
That's exactly how I'm thinking about it. Yeah, but I got a little McDonald's. You texted me about the hash brown that ignited the cravings.
That's the name of the game, dude.
Have a little Coke Energy, some coffee. Got a little bit of water after I killed those two things.
Yep. How's apartment life going? Week 1 in the books.
Good. Not being at work has definitely helped.
Yeah.
I still need a couple things. I look at my cable management, and it pisses me off, but I'm still waiting for the last pieces of furniture before I start securing things in.
Yeah. You got zip ties?
Order them on Amazon. They're coming.
All right. I got it. Zip ties. I bought zip ties when we lived in our apartment 7 years ago, and I still have the same bag because I've used like 10 of them, but I bought
100 pack.
Yeah, I did just recently recable everything behind my TV because I had like at one point I had the PS TV, the little tiny thing plugged in, and at some point I think when I added the Xbox One into the mix, or maybe when the Switch came along, I took that out of the power adapter, but it was still like zip tied into all of the thing. I was just too lazy to undo everything, so I finally went through and just redid everything a couple months ago.
I gotta figure out something clever because I don't want to leave it all in there permanently. I have to come up with some kind of solution because I feel like one day once I get a console game that I just want to dive into for 8 hours at a time, I just want to either move it to my PC monitor or to the bedroom where we have a TV as well, so that way I can just live there and not disrupt Victoria. But it's.
You should get, I mean, depending on if you're talking like for PS4, I have another version of that power cable from so many different other PlayStation things. So I've got one of those where if everything's strapped in there, I can just kind of pivot or whatever.
Yeah, I think I don't have it here. It's at Victoria's, but my PlayStation 3 power cable is over her house. I'll probably just grab that. I think there's an HDMI cable as well with that. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
There it is. Well, good. I'm glad week 1 is going well. I hope you have a good week too, and a better rest of the day than you had of the morning so far.
It can't get worse. So there it is.
Yeah, but hey, speaking of week 1, Matt, you played some Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes, I did.
When we last talked, that was when we recorded. Whatever it
had just dropped, but I didn't get around to playing it because of moving.
But now you got around to playing it because you're done moving. So tell the world about Ghost of Tsushima. This is the new guy from Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch, yep.
The infamous folks.
Here's his hot take on it. I like it. Boom.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. I noticed I didn't use love. I didn't use it's all right. I didn't say I hate it. I like it.
All right.
This is like we talk about it, and I think when you go back to the launch of the Switch and Breath of the Wild, and we talk about how open world games have kind of changed, and the Ubisoft checklist thing, you do that. Like, this is a game very much with that Ubisoft checklist part. And that's fine. Like, it's, games are allowed to have that. Horizon had that. And I came out a week before Breath of the Wild, and I loved Horizon. I actually thought myself, I enjoyed Horizon more so than Breath of the Wild. But yeah, no, it's one of those types of open world games where you're exploring the map, you have a little question mark, or you talk to someone and it pops up a question mark on the map. You can go there and it's going to be some kind of event. Yeah, and you have your story missions that are marked out. The only thing this game doesn't have is the actual like marker system, like to show you the best route to the thing. Like on the minimap, it has the wind is guiding you to everything, which I think is actually a cool little neat mechanic in its own way. So, it brings a different approach to that.
I like that. That's cooler than just doing a straight up thing. But so far, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this sounds like Infamous Second Son, but what if it was Samurai?
So without me playing Second Son a lot, I could maybe see that comparison. But
I'm just thinking back, like in Second Son, I got the platinum in that, and that's not to fucking be a dab or anything.
Fucking dab, it's all right. You're allowed
but
to.
No, but like to get the platinum, you needed to clear out every single area. You had to, kind of like the Spider-Man stuff, where you're like going through different areas and you're like defeating the pockets of enemies and whatever. Yeah. So does it seem like it's like, okay, now you have this territory of the map. You need to go in here. You need to take out all the security cameras. You have to cover up all the graffiti with your own graffiti. You have to knock out these police force. Like, is it that kind of stuff? Obviously, you're not tagging and stuff.
This is the thing, right? I'm still kind of early on. I didn't play a lot of it, and that's kind of where I'm gonna kind of get to here in a second of why I haven't played a lot of it. But it's not to that degree. One of the cool things that this game really does, and this is what they emphasized in that one state of play that was focused on this, is the difference of playing more as a ghost or as a samurai. And I really like that mechanic a lot. The way the story is, they're putting some weight on you defying the samurai way of the code. And I think that's going to impact maybe endings the way, in the end, based on how you play the game. But I haven't even done a lot of the stuff. I think I had to do it once for a mission. That was very early on. I think it was just kind of showing you the stuff. So, but since then, I literally go in and announce that I'm here, and I just fuck shit up. And that's where this game is awesome. I love the combat in this game. It's funny because I related The Witcher back to older Assassin's Creed games where you're just kind of waiting for the parry, and then you parry, you kill, and you kind of wait again. The Witcher kind of did that with some evolution behind it. And then this game does that same approach again, but really, I think it is really detailed, and it's really mechanically driven in a way that The Witcher wasn't, and it feels good. The Witcher combat kind of felt clunky in a way. It feels really good. I like waiting for that perfect parry. I like the fact that I can break some guy's shield down. There's different stances involved that depending on the character you're facing, you can change your stance, and it gives you a different move set to help you break down a shield or do something like that. That is where this game thrives. And that's the part that makes me want to keep coming back. That's the thing when I find that question mark and I find it's a Mongol camp and I'm there to take it out or take it over or whatever. That's the thing that gets me excited. It's kind of like everything else around it is not pulling me in. I like it, but it's just not pulling me in. And that's where all week I've had the issue of just sinking my teeth in for more than 2 hours. I get to the hour and a half mark and I'm like, I got my fill of this. Let's go play something else or do something else or whatever. And that's probably why I only have about 5 to 6 hours in it right now. Now I've seen through some Twitter stuff, Reset Arrow, that like the beginning of this game feels like the biggest grind, and maybe I'm still going through that. But like I said, I dig it. It's just I have not had that moment of like it's got me, and I'm here all day playing this game now.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say anything not having played it, but yeah, I definitely get the. It's going to be hard for me to not make the infamous comparison in this case, but because it sounds like the difference between Samurai and Ghost is like playing hero versus supervillain in the old ones. Like it sounds similar enough, but yeah, it's weird. I've been like mildly craving katana combat. Is that a thing that am allowed to do? I don't like.
That's fine.
I've like here and there. So I downloaded Shadow Warrior 2 because that's on Game Pass, and I just haven't played it yet. But like, I just want something with like a fast sword play kind of thing. And I don't know this. Like, I've seen little clips of it here and there of like you're playing and you do the samurai kind of like everyone kind of strikes a pose, and then you like. Is it all very rigid like that, or is there a little bit of like fluidity to the like? Is that the difference between Ghost and Samurai? Like you have that option to kind of flip between the two speeds, so to speak?
Well, no, like the Ghost thing is you just trying to secretly take out everyone. It's kind of like the difference of you being like, think of Batman, right? Where you can kind of go in, brawl, get that combo counter up, or you can kind of sneak around on the...
Pick them off one by one.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like that hard difference.
Okay.
But like once you get caught, you're kind of forced into more of the samurai thing. You know, that combat style, you can't really go back to Ghost unless you do the whole thing. You run away, you get far away enough, and you kind of come back and start picking people off again. I was going to say something, and I lost my train of thought. This is the hangover brain's kicking in. This is good. But one of the things I really like, and it's a small little mechanic, but it feels so good. When you walk into a camp, instead of you going Ghost and trying to pick off people, you can like announce that you're here, and you do this thing called a showdown, and it's like this little like mini game where you hold triangle, and like it's your character announces that you're like bring your best warrior, and like it goes and like it shows you and the dude like pretty much in like a duel, like a thing like old Western like duel, but a little bit closer. And you both have your hands on your sword, and you're forced to hold in triangle. And when they make the first move, you let go, and then you kill them. And then from there, like the whole battle ensues, and you can combo off of it and get someone like another quick kill.
Cool.
And that's the other thing I really like. The skill tree is you're not stuck behind like a level 1, level 2. Yes, you have to unlock the stances as you progress and do things in the world, or you have to, unlock your tools like your bow and arrow and other tools that come along the way as you play. But like, I can complete the entire bow and arrow thing before I go on to the next thing, or before like one of the first trees you get is like your like fighting and parrying mechanics, and I've almost maxed out that entire section of the tree because because I use them all the time, and I thought it'd be very, very useful for my playstyle. So I've gone ahead and almost maxed that all out, and haven't really even touched my stances or my bow and arrow or other things like that. So I think that's a really cool, nice touch that really emphasizes like you play the game how you want to play it, whether it's Ghost, Samurai, or whatever. So I think that's a really, really cool thing as well. But yeah, no, the combat is really good. This is what I was going to get at, because you said about the katana thing. It's not the best katana combat because Sekiro is poetry in motion in that game when it comes to it.
But, and I'm not going to, you are right. They do it correctly. I'm looking for a thin sword that I can just hack shit with. Oh, I don't think either of these are going to be. Like, I don't know.
With this.
Maybe I need a good Ninja Turtles game. Do they make one of those yet?
Turtles in time.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, I'm still early, and maybe I'm still in that early phase that like it's kind of like the down part of the game from what I've kind of slightly heard here. But no, I like it. It's just it hasn't grabbed me yet like another game did this week,
which was
Super Hot. Mind
Did it?
Control Deletion, whatever the name of that DLC is.
Mind Control Delete, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
So this got its hooks in you, huh?
Dude,
to borrow that phrase.
Launch it's been years since I played Super Hot. When you get back into Super Hot, you realize how good that game is, that hook, how good it is. Like, oh my god, I remember why I love Super Hot so much, and I don't think I talk about how much I love Super Hot enough after getting back into it. And like that first couple hours, I was just invested, I was all in, and then the game, I'll say, is welcome just a bit too much. I believe I am at the last, what you would call a level. They call them nodes in this game. But man, it is just a little bit too long, and they don't bring the variety in quick enough.
That's a bummer.
But that,
what do you mean by bring the variety? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So the way the core gameplay is, like, you go to these nodes, and the node is like a very simplified, like, computer terminal, like Super Mario World kind of thing. You just kind of scroll to the next node, you hit go, and then brings up like this line of code, and you want to progress and clear out the code. But then, like, you get to these little red things. Like, this is all, like, the game doing it, by the way. But you'll end up getting to these red words, and that's the name of the stage. And then you boot in. And then from there, you're actually playing Super Hot. And you want to eliminate as many, or not as many, but you have to eliminate a certain number of enemies. And then you beat that stage, and then you move on. And sometimes these nodes could have 3 levels, like 3 stages. It could have 5. I've seen as many as 10. And that's the part that kind of sucks, because you get like 3 hearts, or 2, depending on what kind of power up you use, and I'll get to that in a second. But like, you have to get through all these stages with the limited number of hearts, unless you get heals. But sometimes your heals don't come at opportune times. So this is where the other part of this is. So you have these stages, and you're clearing the line of codes, but sometimes there's these little hiccups, and these hiccups signify where you can put in a quote hack. And a hack is one of your power-ups that you have acquired or whatever to help you out. So that could be anything from your guns. You don't have to wait as long for you to shoot again. Or if you kill someone, it instantly reloads itself. Or your punches have more power, so you don't have to punch 3 times. You might only punch once. Or the throw-in objects now, when they collide, they make bullets and they like explode like that. Like, there's all these different little mini hacks that you can keep in that state or in that node as you complete through the stages. And some of those hacks could be you getting your hearts back or healing or getting more hearts or whatever. But sometimes, man, like, it is real tough to get through 4 stages, and then all of a sudden, like, or like, you know, you have like your first hack, and you get through 4 stages, you have like 1 heart left, you could really use a heal, and the heal doesn't pop up. Because when you get these opportunities for hacks, it only gives you 2 to choose from, and they come at random. I haven't noticed like any set thing to that. So it all comes at random. So if you don't get a heal, like, you're like, shit, this run's probably going to go bad. I just wasted 15 minutes getting to this part or whatever. So like, the whole node system thing throws it off. And the other thing with it is the level variety. There are a bunch of different levels, but you see them over and over and over again. And maybe this is the way it differentiates itself from the first game a bit, but it feels more... It definitely is more random with the enemy placement, and it's not even... Like, there can still be enemies in the level, but and when you kill the final one you need to, like, it ends it. In the first game, it felt, especially towards the end, the game felt more like a puzzle game. Like, you had to be deliberate in your first, second, and third move to clear the stage. In this, yeah, you might have to have a deliberate first move, but after that, there's like no rhyme or rhythm to where the enemies are coming from that you can remember, if you fail. So, honestly, if you fail, it's a matter of visiting the good old getgood.com, because you don't know how the level is going to shape or change for you to kind of get better. And man, like, it just goes on and on and on. But finally, like, if you get through that weird middle part of just not getting enough enough variety, they bring in these boss these boss enemies that you can't kill, and they actually use what hacks you have against you. It's kind of unique, and it shapes the way whenever I play Super Hot, I'm very jittery. It's I'll move for a hot second and stop, kind of figure out my bearings, move, stop. Sometimes when those bosses come on stage, I'm actually moving like I'm moving in Call of Duty, and it makes you play Super Hot in a way that you're probably not supposed to, but it feels unique and it challenges you in a new way. But yeah, before they start to come, it's tough. It just outstays its welcome. Just an hour too long. But when they came, it was refreshing. It got a lot harder, though. So getting through those stages and keeping hearts, it became much more challenging and frustrating. I had to replay nodes so many times because of the new level of challenge. And that's where I really wish that they didn't rely on the randomness a bunch. More so, it was a set thing. So that way you can learn and kind of I don't know, get your bearings straight. Like something like Bloodborne, right? You know where that enemy is going to be, and you know they're going to do that same attack pattern for the most part. So once you learn it, you got it. And it's just in this you don't have that. That's kind of frustrating for how hard this game can get. To put in the true perspective, I think I'm on the last level now, and I have to get through 10 stages, and I don't even have 2 hearts to do it, or it's 3. But I don't have any of the hacks, so I got to beat these things pure, and it is tough. And I get halfway through and I die. I'm damn, I don't know how I'm gonna get through the next. I'm not even a stage away. I'm 4 stages away and I'm dying. It's god damn, what do I gotta do?
Do you think that if they had done better is a harsh word, but a better job of ramping up, teaching you the skills leading into this, would this be better? It sounds like right now, because it is so skill-based at the end and it's not pattern memorization the way the first game may have been, that if they had done differently with the first half of this game to kind of ramp you up to the point where your skill set feels like you've learned a bit more about how to react.
I think you get that, and I think just from the amount of gameplay you end up experiencing, it's you naturally kind of get the bearings, but something in the game almost introduces right away, these little mini hacks or these permanent hacks that you use to get into the node, and you kind of start relying on them to get you through. And then here it is. It's the last level. It has to be the last level. If there's another level, I don't think I'm going to even keep playing because it's ridiculously long and it's getting out of hand. But you just start, not as like a crutch, but it just becomes part of your core gameplay loop, and then all of a sudden you strip that away, and now you're forced to do all these things, and the number of stages in this last level. And I'm not just saying it for the last level, but there's moments of that where just the node goes on for too long, and there's sometimes not enough heals or hacks or something, and it gets real tough. But I don't know how you would address that, because I guess you could do a tutorial thing, but at the same time, this is technically a DLC, and the cool thing is this is all for free, so I can't complain too much as an owner of the first game. And maybe maybe it's been so long since I played Super Hot, maybe I should go back and maybe pick up a thing or two that maybe I forgot or something. But man, it gets tough quick, and it's not a good Sekiro difficulty either. It's It kind of feels a little cheated. And there are some times where I just get into a stage, and because of the randomness, I feel like there is no way I get out of the first 3 seconds without losing a heart, and it's ending with me screaming at a computer, "Are you fucked?" It gets ridiculously hard quick sometimes. But yeah, no, it's more Super Hot, and that's really cool. And like I said, when you get back into Super Hot, especially that first couple hours, I really like Super Hot. I forgot how cool this gameplay loop is. I forgot the whole aesthetic. Everything with Super Hot is so cool. It's just it kind of sadly outstays its welcome a bit, just due to the difficulty curve and just lack of variety, or when they decided to put in the variety.
Yeah, it's a bummer. But it's again it's a free add-on to something you already.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a little frustrating because of the difficulty and whatever, but I can't stress the gameplay loop of actually playing Super Hot. It was so cool and really good, and I haven't really seen anything that clever in a while. It's like that's the really dope part about this. Like, you just got more Super Hot, you got more levels, you got this cool little boss mechanic that he kind of throw at you in the last half of the game. There's the things around it that kind of make the experience a little like, ugh, really?
Well, I'm curious to see how it wraps up, if you can get through it, and if that changes your
I don't know
opinion.
if I'll get through it, man. It's tough.
Outside of Ghost of Tsushima and Super Hot Mind Control Delete, anything else you've been hopping into? How's Motorsport Manager going?
Man, I'm fucking. That's the coffee game, man. You nailed it when you said it. 3 weeks ago now?
Sure.
Sit back, pour a cup of coffee. I sit back, let my drivers drive. I get mad when they crash, but it's like I got the number one car on the circuit right now. Life's good in the European racing circuit at Maryland Racing.
But that number one is now earned, right? Like, it feels good.
It feels good. That's 4 years of hard work put into that car, and we're number one on the grid, baby. Ugh, beautiful. And then I'm so excited to say this. I don't want to wait to the end, but I'm going to be playing F1 2018 this week. Man, I'm a car man now. I'm a car man. Rally Man 131.
Rally Man. That's what it was. God.
And then, of course, Trackmania. I still poke at that every once in a while. I got nothing new to say about that. Besides,
I haven't touched. I need
that
to.
Giant Bomb server is like the best thing ever.
Yeah. No, I haven't. I've been on the Mac side of my computer, so I haven't booted into Windows to sit and do it. I need to do that this week, at least for an hour, just to get a good taste of that Jar Jar going.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, like, the driving's fun, and the track design's really cool when it's done really well. But like, I just like listening to the garbage music.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a good little thing. And now, like, I've realized if you skip the track before, like, you get into the, like, intro sequence of the map, the skip works. So if you do it real quick, you can get to a decent track or whatever. Or if you're hearing the same one by accident again because it's broken.
I also saw in the comments that if you load in and it loads the same song, if you back out and then load in back into the server, it does play the correct song. But I got to get back to that one. Yeah, I didn't play a ton this week. The one I probably spent the most time with was Carry On. That is you play as like a blob of rotted flesh.
That's the new boy in Game Pass that came, right?
Yeah, it just hit Game Pass on Thursday. And you play as the monster. You are the blob or whatever. And you are working your way through this laboratory, murdering everything in your way. It's a little bit more nuanced than that. Like, you do start to unlock... I've unlocked like a spider web-like mechanic where you can kind of aim through a wall. Not a wall, but like a grate, and you can shoot part of yourself to kind of like stick to an enemy and like cling them to a wall. But you can also use it to like pull levers that you can't otherwise reach. And as you move through each little area, you're finding nest pockets for yourself to kind of like nestle into and like seep out into the world. Like, you just slowly want to take over this entire facility as the monster, it seems. I got to one part where it then flashed back in time, and you could tell it had like this like crystallized overlay on the screen, and you were playing as a human running through and in what looks like a similar area to where the monster is. So I think they're going to do the thing where the two timelines meet or whatever. And it feels good. I think that's the best thing about this game is like rolling through the air vents as this monster. It feels gross and good. Like they do a really good job with like the.
Does it feel as good as Inside when that gets weird?
Inside I never felt like I had control of, which I felt like was kind of part of like the deeper meaning behind that part. It has that element to it where you're like, I feel like a monster, but it's neat because you're moving and you're like, in your head, you've played video games before that have all of these platforms, and you're like, well, I can't just, but you can. You just push up, and he just kind of like crawls up, and it's gross and cool, and it's fun. I'll probably keep poking at that one, especially because it's on Game Pass. Didn't cost me anything extra.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I remember seeing that game in one of the shows at some point, and I didn't realize this was that game. So I'll probably check it out too at some point.
And I too, like I sat down last night to play some stuff, and that was there. I didn't have it installed, and then I was like, maybe. And it was like 300 megs, so I was like, I'll download in a second.
Yeah.
It downloaded, installed, and I was right in, and I played, I don't know, maybe a half hour of it. It's cool, for sure. And then I jumped into some of Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest demos that have hit the Xbox Game Store. So I played one called, I believe it's pronounced Kaze and the Wild Masks, but it looks like Kaze, Kaze. This is such a weird blend of games. Like, it feels like the developers loved Donkey Kong Country, Sonic the Hedgehog, and the Tiny Toons games for back. Like, it's very much a 16-bit platformer. I think the art animation, I think what they've done with the sprites in the game, like, everything has a really good, like, flow about it. And I think, like, just the idle animations of characters and enemies and things are really vibrant, and they kind of feel, the world feels alive. Every level so far, I played, the demo has a quite generous amount of levels you can play through, but every level so far has had this, there's pink gems you collect as you go through. Think of those like Sonic's rings, but they're like pink gems all throughout the world. There are 2 bonus stages in each stage, and as far as I can tell, failure does not kick you out of them. You can just keep retrying the bonus stage so long as you've found where the bonus stage entry point is. And those vary from collect all the gems to defeat 5 enemies, and you have a 30-second time limit on each of the bonus stages. And then hidden throughout the level, not unlike the Kong letters in Donkey Kong Country, you have Kaze hidden, and you have to find those. So by the end of the stage, as long as you've collected at least 100 gems, all 4 of the K's letters, or Kaze letters, I think it's Kaze, and you've found the 2 bonus gems by completing the bonus challenges, you get 100% for the level. It's a really fun platform. I think it feels good. It's the tiniest bit, like, if the movement speed on the player is like 1.1, I would love if it was 1.2. Like, it just needs to be a tiny bit faster. But I think that they've got a really neat game there. Like, to make it's a hard thing. Like, there was that game Freedom Planet that came out some time ago it started as like a Sonic fan project, and they were like, well, why are we going to make something that will just get cease and desist? Why don't we just make our own thing? And they made Freedom Planet with their own characters and stuff. And that one just never, I didn't play a lot of it. I'm not going to say that I played all the way through it and didn't like it, but from what I played, like, the feel of the game never really, like, clicked in the way that I wanted it to. And this one is like, they do a good job of that. I think it's a hard thing to achieve that, like, 16-bit platformer. Like, I think a lot of games try it and not a lot of games hit it, and I think this one does hit it pretty well. So that, I recommend that. Kaze and the Wild Masks. You play as a rabbit. They do good storytelling intro at the beginning where it's just like a little, like, cutscene of, like, you and a brother wander in, find this mysterious ring. The ring lifts from a pedestal and sucks the brother inside of the ring, and now the ring is with a magic wizard man. Or, like, it's very much that kind of thing, but it's just a fun, solid little platformer. And then I played one that I was, like, so sad when the demo ended. It's called Freshly Frosted. So this is a puzzle game where you need to decorate donuts and ship them out the door. So it's like it's grid based, and the grids start off small, like 2x4 tiles. They slowly expand. Maybe it's 8x8, something, not 8x8, like 4x4, 16x16, little grid based things. You basically have a start point and an end point. The start point is where the donuts come out of. The end point is where the donuts are delivered. And at first, the idea is, so you're always placing conveyor belts. And kind of when you are pulling in a direction and then pressing A to place the conveyor belt, it'll make the conveyor belt move in that direction. So if you hold down, it's a downward conveyor belt, right, etc. The first one is very much get the donut from the point A to point B. Then they start adding in things where it's like, okay, Now you need to make the donut pass through the pink frosting and then ship it out the door. And so each stage is going to have little puzzle elements of, little requirements. So, you need to at least deliver one regular donut, one frosted donut, and one frosted donut with sprinkles. So you have to make sure it passes through the sprinkles and the frosted in a certain order. And it just kept adding at least for this demo, every stage seemed to add a new gameplay element to it, that I'm excited to see how it all comes together in one big, long game. Because they have things later on where there's a, splitter. It's like I don't know what to call it, but it's like an arm that moves left or right. So you feed the donuts into that arm, and then it kicks them into two alternating paths, which you might have one donut creation, but you have 3 exits, right? So it's a lot of fun to try and piece together okay, well, hold on. I need to get to the exit with a plain donut, but I also need to get one with whipped cream and a cherry on top. I also need to get one with... So, you're slowly figuring out how to use the elements on the board to move the donuts around and find... It was just a fun... I think the demo itself, just playing it through, I think there were, 2 where I actually, hit a fail state, and it was not because I didn't figure out the puzzle, because I sat and, spent a good time figuring out the puzzles, but, I had the conveyor belt pointing up when it should have been going left. I just from moving, you know what I mean? Placing it on the board, I didn't do it right. And as soon as it happens, oh, whoops. But I'd say 15, 20 minutes I spent with it and got through the demo to the point where it was hey, we're excited for this game to come out next year. Look forward. Please wish list. But that was a fun one. I think if you're looking for just a thing to do for 20 minutes, Freshly Frosted demo was cool. I downloaded a couple others, but I haven't tried them yet. I don't know that I'll get to them or not. I don't know if those demos expire or if you only have this week to download the demos. I don't know how that works. I don't know what they did for the Steam one. But yeah, that was largely my week in video games.
Yeah, that's about all I did.
Yeah. Well, we did have a Nintendo Direct Mini to start off the week and an Xbox Game Showcase to cap off the week. Why don't we take a quick break and we'll hit on some headlines and talk about both of those.
Dope.
Cool. We'll be right back. Matt, you said opening day was Friday.
Correct.
Baseball's back in season.
Correct.
Seems like sports are maybe a thing that's a possibility. Hockey?
August 1st.
Okay. Well, guess what, Matt? We've also learned a little bit about NHL 21 from EA. Now, this press release, or whatever the heck it is, it's just called NHL 21 Update, addresses the community, says that basically NHL is going to launch a little bit later, shifting from September to October. That transitioning to developing the game from home has been successful, but it also was an adjustment. First look at NHL 21 is happening in late August. It's kind of the big thing. They are really, it seems like they're doing what they did last time around with NHL, which was making the game for current-gen consoles. Now, last time, they did not do a next-gen version. They skipped that, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And this time around, they're emphasizing that forward compatibility means you can play them on Series X and PS5. Mm-hmm. But they're not building a native version.
Correct.
Now, my big question here is, throughout this little press release, they keep saying Chell. What is Chell? Now, granted, I'm a man with 1,000 nicknames for his dogs, so I'm not adverse to coming up with some dumb shit. Is this short for NHL? Is that the idea here?
I always thought Chell came from the it came from like that community hub thing where like it's like the EA like sports league thing that you team up with. You make like a team with like others online. I think it came from somewhere in there, but maybe it is just that. I don't know the actual origin of it, but I myself have used that term a couple times as well.
I don't like it. It sounds
Weird.
gross. It's like, what are you doing after work? Nothing. Want to play some Chell? Ew. Dude, I'll see you on Chell later. You want to Chell down? You want to Chell up? Like, it just doesn't... I went to 7-Eleven. I got a hamburger, hot dog, and boy, let me tell you, my Chell's sure acting up. I got a case of the Chells over here. I don't like it, Matt. I don't like it one bit. And then when you scroll down, you see like the related news. Like they say Chell all over the place. NHL 20, Chell notes. I don't...
Yeah, I think it comes from a mode somewhere. Hold on, I'm looking it up now. You got me. Chell Holiday Sweepstakes. You see, like...
It's all over the
What do they
place.
call
It's
that
gross.
hub? In 20 or 19, I forgot which one, they introduced like a hub thing for like your my player stuff, and I think that has something to do with it.
At the core world of Chell, I don't like this at all.
Well, according to the Urban Dictionary, Chell is short for National Hockey League, mostly referred to as the video game. So
Gross. All right. I also learned that Road to El Dorado has its own Wikipedia page.
Yeah, World of Chell. That's what it was. That's what I'm thinking of. That's their hub thing. I guess I never realized Chell was. I thought it was just like a. What's the term? Like a acronym for something?
It's some dude doing the shaka, or what's this thing called? Hang loose, whatever the hell. Just going, dude, you want to play some Chell? Dude, why are we all flipping out over here, man? Just sit down, play some Chell.
Nah, I
Some
usually refer
Carrabba's
to
for
this
takeout.
game as, hey, you want to play that beta?
Square Enix working on a little bit more than a beta with Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, or, well, we don't know what it's called. I just called it that. But the next installment in the Final Fantasy VII Remake series is in full development. Latest issue of Famitsu this week has a 15-page interview that verified that the next installment's already in full development, that the Madame M massage scene with Cloud kind of getting raw is... they could not go any further, otherwise ratings would go up. Which, yeah, I mean, he already was kind of getting a little creamy there. That was a weird... yeah. And Roche was supposed to have a battle in Chapter 14. Now, here's the thing that I learned today about Final Fantasy VII Remake. I have no idea who Roche was. And I played that game. And I liked that game a whole bit. That also... Do you know that game came out 4 months ago?
Yeah.
And not 2 years ago? Which is what it feels like? Who was Roche? Was that the bald guy with the glasses? Or is that the guy with the thing in his head?
No, I don't. You got me laughing.
See?
I did the same thing, though. I had to look it up. I was like, which one was Roach?
Bald guy with glasses or cool guy with long hair?
I don't know what the fuck.
I don't remember.
Oh, wasn't he... Never mind. He was the other soldier guy. He was the one he battled on the bike.
Oh. Nah. It's cool. I don't need one of them. I figured they'd bring him back as like a recurring, like...
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah. So that... When do you think that's coming out? Director Tetsuya Nomura says he wants to deliver the game as soon as possible. What do you think that equates to?
Well, I'm going to just base it off the last 2 installments in the Final Fantasy series. I'm going to say 5 years from now.
Really? I think it'd be shorter than that.
Well, I'm just going off, I'm just looking at recent history. 7 Remake went through development hell. And 15 went through development hell.
They've got a good team right now. I know. We'll see.
Let's look at recent history.
Well, recent history tells us that Rocket League is going free to play this summer across the board, Matt. Of course, we kind of expected this in the wake of Psyonix's acquisition by Epic Games. This is going to bring cross-platform progression. So everything that you have unlocked will happen on everything you've unlocked. And is there a date specifically?
They have one.
No. It just says later this summer.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so. And then this is happening on PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch. The game is leaving Steam, so you will not be able to purchase it from Steam, but you'll still receive updates if you're playing through Steam. You don't have to download the version from Epic if you already have it on Steam. So, how do you feel as a Rocket League player?
I think it's good. I think it's going to bring new life to that community. I was talking to you briefly right before we recorded about it might be fun to hop in that day and get that Christmas Day new player fan base and own some kids. But no, it's good. They're being smart about it too. It looks like they're bringing all the DLC over from before. Of course, you won't get like the premium content, like the licensed content, so you won't get that Dom car without paying for that Dom car. But look, it makes a lot of sense to do that. This has definitely turned into a platform over the years, and it just makes a lot of sense to do it. I wonder how much money they actually made from the sales of this game. I feel like they made all their money from like the crates and the keys and the Rocket Pass and stuff, all the stuff they've been doing. Because it's on Game Pass. I've seen it on sale on Steam so many times. I got it free on PlayStation that first month. I bought it on Switch, but I feel like I've seen it on sale even on Switch a couple times. So I'm curious how much money they actually made from the actual sales of the game.
Well, I think one interesting thing, too, is when you hear Tim Sweeney talk about the future of video games, it's very much that, like, he believes in the idea that games have the potential to be these kind of social platforms in a way, like, really emphasizing what they've done with Fortnite and how concerts are happening and live events, and it's always changing, and it just becomes like a part of life in a way. And I wonder how much of that, being like, obviously Psyonix is still its own arm and its own branch, but I wonder how much of that company culture will start to bleed into it. So we see that happening with the game going free to play, but do you think that we'll see a thing where it's like, this weekend only, there's this event happening in Rocket League. If you play and whatever, every match you're going to have Metallica is sitting in the center of the stage rocking out. I
don't know if we're going to have it to that capacity, but they've already done stuff like that. Like the whole exclusive, like the summer thing last year. They had the exclusive game modes. Last Halloween, while you were hanging out in Japan, I was playing Rocket League with Stranger Things music and that map and stuff. So
right.
It's I think they're already kind of doing that. It's not like the tonight only kind of thing you see in Fortnite, but I don't know. Like I could maybe see them leaning more into it, but also like Rocket League is not the platform that Fortnite is. Fortnite is like its own beast. And I think we joked, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, about like Fortnite owning Epic Games at this point, because Fortnite goes, Epic Games goes, I feel like, at this point. So I think there is a tremendous difference in that regard. But no, I'm just happy. I think this is a good move. It's not like the game's struggling for a player count, because there's always enough people on them. Cross play helps a lot too. But breathing life into this, getting new eyes on it, and the game. How old is it now? 4 years? 5? 4?
5. Yeah. And this never came to mobile, did it?
No.
But that's another one I can see. If you can get there too, that's a whole other.
That'd be tough. You do it with a controller. I'm sure it will run. I'm just thinking like controller and you trying to do a touch UI.
Yeah.
That'd be real weird.
Yeah, they'd have to rethink how that happens. But speaking of hanging out in Japan, Matt, Yakuza Like a Dragon got its kind of full pre-order details laid out. There are a couple of different editions of the game coming. And Sega has announced that the Xbox versions will support smart delivery. So if you buy it once on Xbox One or Series X, if you buy it once on Xbox One, you'll get the Series X version for free when it becomes available. They say that a PlayStation 5 upgrade path is also being planned and will be announced at a later date. This is, for those who don't remember, the Yakuza Like a Dragon is technically Yakuza 7, but it's the first game in the series where you're not playing as Kiryu, you're playing as Daiichi, I think the dude's name is. And it's more, this is kind of like the developers were like, hey, we really like Dragon Quest, so we wanted to make a Dragon Quest game. This is a full like RPG. It came out in Japan earlier this year, and I've been following it loosely. I'm excited about this one. I also feel weird that I haven't played the rest of the Yakuza stuff, so I feel weird not playing those. But this is a brand new kind of spin-off from that. Still set in the same world, but and I think you are playing in Kamurocho, but it's different enough that, different storyline, different characters. You'll probably see some crossover. There might be some nods and things, but yeah. And then they also announced the English voice cast. So I'm an idiot. And before, when I said the character's name is Daiichi, I was assuming that because they're doing a Daiichi digital edition. Ichi means one in Japan, so it means Day 1 digital edition. The character's name is Ichiban Kasuga. He's the protagonist of the story, returning from 18 years spent in prison. They announced the voice cast for the game as well. George Takei is playing Masami Arakawa. Is that like the dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a little upset. I want to say Troy Baker and Nolan North, so it can't be a real video game.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't make any sense. Well, speaking of real video games, we got a Nintendo Direct Mini this week. Out of nowhere. I think it was like Sunday night before bed. It was like, hey, we're going to do a thing in the morning. Wake up. 8 minutes? Is that what it was?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a short little guy. So we got more content coming to... All right, I forgot the name of that game. It's not Crypt of the Necrodancer. Cadence of Hyrule. Crypt of the Necrodancer. More playable characters, more songs, all of that. And it's paid DLC for that game. They showed off a little bit more of Rogue Company. Of course, we slipped in the world of WWE with WWE Battlegrounds.
God, that game looks so bad.
Yeah. And then we see a remake of Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne out this year in Japan in October, but it'll be here in the spring for us on Switch. And then we finally got our first look at Shin Megami Tensei 5, which was first announced at the January event in 2017 to announce the Switch. So we finally saw that, and that is just set for loosely 2021. Which I'm pretty excited about. How do you feel about that one?
The Shin Megami Tensei games. I don't know, but I'm willing to try one out.
Yeah, I thought that was neat. The Direct itself, I mean, it was short, it was quick. If we're going to get a couple of those, you know what I mean, over the next couple of weeks, I feel a little bit better about it. But, like, that was kind of like, it was fine, right? But, like, we still have no idea what the hell is coming out on the Switch for the rest of the year. Like, Origami King was the last big one, and that was a surprise announcement by a tweet on a Thursday morning in May, and now it's like, what are you doing? What's next?
Well, concerning, but I wonder, if things got pushed because of COVID and stuff like that. So I don't know.
I'm sure it affected things. I just wonder what.
Well, that's the thing. It might not have anything.
There's got to be something.
You say that, but look at what PlayStation did that one year. They didn't have anything.
Yeah, that's true. It's hard to say. Japan had a direct as well with mostly the same content, but they did actually show off a game that was not in our direct, but we're getting the game on November 10th. It's called Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. It looked very much like a Vanillaware game, but it's not one. But the trailer is really cool. Everything about the game looks really... I don't know, I like the art style. I like the combat, seemingly. It looks neat. That'll be out in November. Then Thursday, we had the Xbox Games Showcase. Wait, before that, a couple other news stories that popped throughout the week. We saw a developer that made a game called Lethal League, Team Reptile, announced a game called Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. It's described as a game where you will start your own cipher and dance, paint, trick, face off with the cops, and stake your claim to the extrusions and cavities of a sprawling metropolis in an alternate future set to the musical brainwaves of Hideki Naganuma. It will launch for PC via Steam in 2021. Yeah, they're basically just making Jet Set Radio. And they got the guy who made the music for Jet Set Radio to make more music for this game. But across the board, style-wise, like you look at it and it's like, oh yeah, they're making that. But that's cool. I mean, Sega's not doing it, so
someone's got to do it.
And speaking of Sega not doing it, Yuji Naka has been at Square Enix for a few years now, and we hadn't really seen a lot out of him or his team. But we found out this week that Balan Wonderworld is a new 3D action platformer from Yuji Naka and Naoto Oshima. This was shown off during the Xbox Games Showcase pre-show. This is coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, Switch, and PC via Steam in the spring of 2021. This looks very much like what if we made a spiritual successor to Knights. But yeah, 3D platforming, it looks really pretty. A lot of vibrant colors. It popped. The character seems a little weird. The character seems more like a villain than a hero, but I'm intrigued. I think it's a good fit for them.
Yeah, they look cool. I know we were all in Discord. I know you stepped away for that trailer, but like Mark was saying, and this is a good point, like you just don't see many people make worlds that don't make sense anymore.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Like everything has to have a reason, everything has to whatever. It's not like those old platformer days. It was just like, yeah, you're in a mountain that's covered in jelly, but also snow and also fire. It's like, people just did stuff because it looked cool. Not everything had a reason necessarily. Then the big meat of the week, I would say, Matt, is the Xbox Games Showcase. How do you want to do this? You want to run down each thing or just kind of hit the highlights here? Well, let me say this. What was your takeaway? You walk out of that Xbox Games Showcase. What are you feeling?
Fucking Halo looked terrible.
Oh, God.
No, I think this has kind of got echoed around here a little bit, but the winner is everyone who has a Game Pass membership because they get all that stuff that was announced for whatever price or tier of Game Pass you pay for.
Yeah. I mean, even stuff that like wasn't necessarily like part of like Destiny 2 is being added to Game Pass with everything. With everything. Everything. When it's added, and then it'll be the new expansion as well.
Yeah, Beyond Light. Right? Yeah.
Yep.
That's nuts.
Yeah. I mean, that's wild. Halo Infinite, you feel excited about that one? Like, I'm ready.
The best thing they did was pull up the nav map. That was like the best thing that confirmed a lot of my speculation on that. And
Yeah.
I am okay with Halo going Far Cry. Like,
Yeah.
I am all for that, because my problem with the Far Cry games is it does that thing where it doesn't want to take itself too seriously when it should, because a lot of themes deserve to be taken seriously in those games. I feel like Halo is going to do a much better job of storytelling in that regard. So I'm very excited for that.
So you haven't played 5 yet, so I don't want to say anything quite yet. But let me say this, storytelling wise. It seems like the villains here are the the Banished.
Banished.
Which I remembered them from what of the story in Halo Wars 2 that I played. But the way Halo 5 ends is very much on a cliffhanger and very much like, oh, we're going there. Okay. I've not seen anything in Halo Infinite that suggests any of that. There's a little piece of something that was in this trailer about the Chief being alone that maybe kind of nods to where 5 leaves off, but not the other part of it. So I'm curious to see how they still continue that story and also tell a new one. I think I said it when we were watching it all, but like, this game feels like, hey, what if we made Combat Evolved in 2020? You know, like it does feel like they spiritually went back to the origins of it, which it seems like that was their goal. And I think they've said as much in interviews and talks and things like that about the game.
Well, pretty much the entire first game takes place on the ring, right?
Yeah. And this is, you are on a new mysterious ring is kind of the loose pitch for it or whatever. So
yeah, it's going to be really cool. I really like if they do some interesting things with the open world part of it. Like, I am all down for like territory takeovers from the like almost like Far Cry Outpost from the Banished. It'd be real cool if you stumble into this weird section and it's just all flood, and you have to take out eliminate the flood in the area to take back its control. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff they can do. That like is your typical like open world like Far Cry stuff, but with the Halo coat of paint. I think it would be. If they can pull it off, it's going to be great. It might not, take video games into a brand new direction, but I don't need Halo to necessarily do that. I just need Halo to play.
But it'll take Halo into a new direction for sure.
Yeah, well, that, yeah, but yeah, man, I just need Master Chief to fire weapons, weapons that feel good, not that bullshit from 4, and yeah.
The big piece that they call out is that. The game, you're exploring a Halo ring that is several times larger than the last 2 Halo games combined. Which is kind of crazy.
Well, it's easy to be bigger than Combat Evolved because it's the same fucking map. You just play the game backwards the last half.
They also point out in some of the developer interviews that this is a new platform for Halo, and seemingly this is the Halo game that they will make for the next decade. Like, this is they kind of have this put in place, and then that's going to be it, and they'll keep adding to it, and it'll grow over time.
Tell me, man, next year, Gears Infinite.
Oh boy,
I'm bring it on.
Anything else stand out from there in terms of like games? I'm going to hit you with some titles, and you tell me. As Dusk Falls.
See, I'm going to say a bunch of this stuff. I'm not going to remember any footage from it.
I got to look at this. Oh, As Dusk Falls was the storytelling one that was very much like still images being animated like a motion comic.
All
right. We had Avowed, Obsidian Entertainment's next RPG.
That was after they announced that they're doing another expansion for the Outer Worlds as well.
Yep. We saw a teaser for Fable from Playground Games, like the worst kept secret in recent history. Forza Motorsport is also another one that was like, duh. We saw the Gunk. I thought the Gunk looked cool.
That was that's the Steam World, isn't that what it is?
Yeah. And then, Matt, this one you might be excited for. Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. Now, when they played this trailer, I was left with questions. Like, is this a sequel? Is this the same game? Is this a graphical overhaul for the existing game? What is it? And a day later, they put out a trailer that was like, hey, here's a follow-up to our announcement that maybe will explain things better. They basically replay the same trailer, but with different overlay text and say everything that you were wondering about. My walk away from it was that this is them saying, what if you had one character that you could jump between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 simultaneously? The two worlds aren't together, but you can have the same character, same progression, same whatever, and play in both worlds. So you can still play Phantasy Star Online 2, or you can play New Genesis with the same character. Certain things aren't going to translate back and forth, but generally it will. And then Mark added in that it's a little bit of like a Realm Reborn. Like they're still going to do some stuff from PSO2 that's just been remade for a new whatever.
I think that's exciting. It's cool that Microsoft worked hard to get that stateside, and now they're using that momentum to launch this new thing. I think that's very smart by Sega.
Yeah, and that'll not just be on Xbox. It's also going to be on Switch, PS4 as well, and PC, obviously. We saw Stalker 2. That was kind of wild. I didn't think we'd ever see another Stalker game, but
yeah, cool.
That's coming to State of Decay 3.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what they do with State of Decay 3. The last one was developed in the transitional period of them being acquired by Microsoft, but now with some Microsoft bucks behind them, I mean, already this game, cinematically, what they showed looked a lot better than what they had done previously, so. Probably game of the show coming up here, Matt. Tetris Effect Connected. Coming out this holiday to Xbox Series X and Xbox One. They also announced that if you've already purchased Tetris Effect previously in the past on PS4 and PC, that you get this as a free upgrade. And then
that'll be in 2021 for non-Xbox people, that upgrade.
Thank you. Good correct. Warhammer 40k Darktide hits in 2021. This is the new co-op game from the people who made Vermintide. I've never played those games. I know Mark played a few of those and liked them, but yeah, I never
have either. I always look at them from afar, though.
Yeah. And then we got updates to some other games, like you said, Outer Worlds, Psychonauts 2, Tell Me Why, etc.
They announced the Hellblade series thing leading up to its release.
Yeah, and they talked about how Hellblade, they announced that that's taking place in Iceland this time. And my thing, we talked about this a little bit, not, on the podcast, but the thing that I'm starting to realize as we get closer or further from this announcement is how much their messaging has changed and is weird surrounding this stuff. Back at the beginning of the year, we heard Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty say that all games will be... There's no platform exclusive stuff happening on Series X from a first-party standpoint. That first-party games are going to be on Xbox One and Series X for the next 2 years minimum. And right in this, Forza, Fable, State of Decay 3, they're all Series X and PC, which is not on Xbox One.
I don't think that stuff's far out. I mean, that's what I said in Discord when we were talking about it. I just, the Forza thing, I could easily, it kind of sucks, but I don't think PlayStation's going to launch day and date with a car game either.
No, I don't think so.
So, I know that's the thing to have, but guess what? New generation, new rules. So maybe we don't need the car game anymore. That launch.
No, I think you're right. I don't think you do, because the big thing this generation is going to be load times, right? If they can show that off in another game in a cool way, I think there's plenty of that. It's interesting. That seemed odd to me that it was such a big thing at the beginning of the year to say nah, dude. Your games are your games everywhere you go, and kind of doubling down on that mentality. And now, middle of this, it's just well, hold on. What if no?
Yeah, like I said, I think I would not be shocked to see if that stuff came either like Forza I can't see going into 2022. Like it makes it just way too late. But I think I can easily see that being like late next year. And that's the first one. Or like maybe they do like a separate thing. Maybe there's Series X features that you won't get in the Xbox One version. So that's why they're using, like they're saying, like the one they showed is the one on Series X and on PC, but we still got you, fam. If you're on Xbox One, it's just going to look, it's like going to kind of be like a different title, and they can use that smart delivery thing, like instead of just saying, "Oh, you get the best one," or smart delivery, like you buy Forza, and then you get the feature difference based on whatever platform you have. So I don't know, like the smart delivery thing, I think this is where I think at first I thought it was just a smart marketing thing because PlayStation didn't have a cool term for that. But, if this – because you're seeing the Series X stuff and the PC, I have a feeling the smart delivery thing is going to mean more in like a year.
Yeah, I can see that. I also think that just to talk about Forza specifically, Forza Horizon 4 became a platform, if you think about it, right? Like the seasons change and all of those things happening week to week changed the way that game played out over the course of time. And then after the year mark, when you would be expecting the next proper Forza, you just got an expansion to Horizon 4 instead. And I noticed this one was not called Forza Motorsport 8, or was it 7 or 8, whatever. It was just called Forza Motorsport. And I wonder if they're doing the same kind of platform approach to that, where like, this is just going to be a thing. It's going to be a growing, evolving game over time that they'll keep building on and iterating to make it kind of a service.
What if they haven't announced it yet, but Project Gotham Racing's coming back for a day and date?
Now you're talking.
Overall,
though, yeah.
But I think, overall with the showcase, I think and this is where the next 3 years of Xbox is going to be interesting to watch, because you saw Sony come out. You saw them come out swinging with notable brands like Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank, their VR robots. They've kind of gotten some like some swagger a little bit. Like you see them come out swinging with those big properties that people know and love and respect. It's tough for Sony to do that because I don't think they have the same kind of swagger of some of their properties. And they can't do one with Gears because Gears that would be way too early to show anything for a Gear 6.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see all those studios that get acquired, have them finish their current projects, and then get started on new stuff. So it's going to be fun to watch how Xbox kind of grows as a brand here in the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, it's a good point. We're starting to see that, like the little tease of Avowed was I think the first one of those where it's like, okay, all the stuff that they had been working on beforehand, this is where it is. State of Decay 3 is not a new direction, but it is a new title for that development studio. Was it Undead Labs? So, it's cool. It's like, remember like the PS3 era, you had a lot of those acquisitions happening with Sucker Punch and those different studios within Sony now that we look at, as kind of tentpole Sony places or Sony studios. I think we'll start to see that come together with Xbox, like you said, in the next few years.
Yeah, like it's going to be fun to see like who ends up being Xbox's like Naughty Dog or like Sucker Punch, and I'm trying to think of like another like tentpole. I can't think of
Gorilla.
Like. It's gonna be fun.
Who's the Media Molecule? I guess Rare's the Media Molecule. They're all over there, right?
Yeah, like it's gonna be fun to see like how they all shape, and like they got the RPG guys, they got Obsidian. Like we already know who they are, but now it's like the rest of them. How are they gonna fill the mold? And like is Ninja Theory gonna be this weird experimental single player studio that like you can somewhat see from like Studio Japan? Like it's
right.
It's gonna be cool. You just got to give it time, and that's the thing. They put the money down, they put their investment in. Now you just got to see that investment through, and kind of take the rocky next 2 years here, with a grain of salt.
My last question about this is: where do you sit after this? And I'm not talking about who won fake E3.
What are you talking about? Who? Like we always have to pick a winner. That's how these work.
No, it's not how it works. No, but like. where are you at in the wake of this? Like, what do you still want to know from Xbox and from PlayStation? Obviously, price is a big one.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you've said a couple times, I think on the podcast and off, that like PS5 day one, don't care. But like, what else are you looking for at this point? We are likely within the 3 to 4 month window now of these consoles hitting the shelves. What is left?
I want to see like the console now, like the features, have the console running, that kind of UI stuff. Like, you kind of talked about the Mixer and Facebook thing. Like, I want to see what that UI looks like on Xbox. Is there a fucking Facebook gaming tab like there was a Mixer tab, or is it baked in another way? Like, it's so weird. And it's just something I take for granted now on like almost all my things. But I was trying to get a Jackbox game going because Jackbox 3 is on Game Pass. I was trying to figure out a way to stream it through Twitch and then just FaceTime in friends, and then we all play together. But Xbox doesn't have a streaming option anymore. They don't connect to Twitch because of the whole Mixer thing. And now with Mixer's gone, you can't do shit.
Weird.
So like, it's weird things like that you kind of...
Does Mixer still show up on the dashboard for Xbox One? I didn't even check.
I don't think so.
Weird. I mean, I know a little while ago they had taken out like the bumper jump and pulled that out, but yeah, weird.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. But like, I just want to see like some of those features. I want to see like how they approach it. Like, Xbox One, they very much came out and said like they wanted to be like the cable box almost in your room, or in your living room. I want to see like how they dance around that this time. Putting the streaming baked in was a big thing last generation. What's it going to be this generation? What's the cool like new hook we can do? And then like how much of it needs to be baked in like day one? What are their plans for system update 2.0? They can talk about that or whatever. So you got that. The price. I just want to see them talk about the console and then have like a little tech demo or something that showcases that feature. Like, yeah, we want to talk about load times. Cool. So actually show us gameplay of the fucking load times now. Like,
yeah,
amaze me with it. This besides that one weird like iPhone video that I've seen of Spider-Man.
Yeah. I think one thing I want to see out of both consoles is show me somebody, like if you want my money, right? And if you want me to like let the jeans get a little bit tighter, I want to see someone fire up the dashboard. I don't care what the dashboard looks like. I want to see him click a button that says store. I want the store to load, and I want the person to be able to quickly scroll through and search for games, explore the store. Because right now, and now Switch is just as bad as... Switch was the like saving grace because it was so good, but now they've added in that... the like 3-second videos or whatever that like kind of like pop up with Switch stuff. So now the Switch store just chugs butt too. Like, I need a store that can stay consistently efficient for the duration of a console's life cycle. It's just, the loading is impossible. It sucks. It's especially on PlayStation, but even Xbox has just gotten terrible now.
Look, they're all bad, but at least it wasn't PlayStation 3 new store.
And that kicked in. But dude, no, but it's basically there now on PS4 for me.
Yeah, I think you're forgetting how bad that was.
No, I know how bad it was. I still load up the PS3 store every now and then just to remind myself of the horrors. I know, but it's yeah. You know who did it right? Wii U. No. Yeah, I want to see that stuff. I'm still not sold on either console. And I don't know what changed in me that happened. Go back to I drink my coffee just black with no sugar now. Like one day I just woke up and didn't care about these consoles. And I don't know why. I want to care, but I'm like, I don't.
I mean, I keep repeating myself, I feel like, every week now. But like the reason why I'm getting the PlayStation 5 is because I know I'm going to need it at some point. Maybe just get it. I have Miles Morales there. Like that's something I'm really looking forward to. I know it's a smaller thing, but it's going to be something. And then I'll buy Madden again. I'll buy Madden this year, and then I have two things now on my PlayStation 5.
And I think there is value in that. I just remember like the last console launch that happened was the Switch, and that one I was like, no, I need this day. Like Breath of the Wild and Nintendo, like the whole everything about it was like cool. And nothing about these so far has made me been like, I need this thing. You know?
That was the thing. Like, we knew a little bit more of the dates of the Switch lineup. Like, we knew Breath of the Wild, that fucking hoss of a launch game. Day one. And then you knew Splatoon was, like, right after it in that summer.
Yeah, in the summer.
Remember, my original plan with the Switch was not to get it day one. I mean, that was just kind of a happy accident. But it was to get it, like, right before Splatoon. Like, in 2 months.
Right.
So, like, it's... I just think the uncertainty... And COVID is probably a huge part of this, but the uncertainty in the dates of these games kind of... Like, I would be... Dude, if Gran Turismo managed to come out, like, that first month, like, I probably would buy it because I'd be craving something to play on my PlayStation 5, but I don't know. That's going to be a thing. So now I can't say, like, all right, well, when I get my PlayStation 5 day one, I know I'm going to have Miles Morales, probably Madden, and a third game. So, like, I just don't know what else is going to be around, you know?
Yeah. So one, I said before that was my final question, but one more. Right now,
who won?
You got PS5. You're ready to roll. For me, when I think about it, I'm thinking from like I really, like we said last week, I really want an Xbox. I like where they're at. I like the fact that everything we just saw the other day, where not everything was something that I would necessarily run to play, but everything we saw the other day is coming to Game Pass, which I'm in on Game Pass. I'm not going anywhere on Game Pass. They'd have to do something really stupid for me to stop paying for Game Pass, which, congratulations, it worked. So knowing that, if right now my day one is Xbox Series X, your day one is PS5, what forces you to make the switch? Or maybe not switch, but what forces you to say, nah, I'm out?
On like... repeat that one more. So, like, all right, what would make me go out on the PS5? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, and not necessarily say I'm buying a Series X instead, but what's the thing where you wake up and you go, Jim Ryan, not this time?
A bad price.
What's a bad price?
And then, honestly, and it kind of sucks, but like if Miles Morales doesn't make it day one, I seriously have nothing to play.
Yeah.
Like
Bug Snacks.
That's like Animal Crossing. You know how I feel about Animal Crossing.
I know.
But like, you know, that's the one thing holding up the tempo right now for me. PlayStation 5 day one, and then it's just I have it now, so I may as well get the other things. But if Miles Morales isn't there, there is nothing for me, and I may as well just wait. Like it will be exciting, and I know like when it gets closer, like oh man, I should just get it, but. I'm going to have that little shadow of the doubt in the back of my mind saying, like, why am I getting it? Because I'm not going to play anything. I'm not going to play anything on it for, like, 2 months. What's the point?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. So, Miles Morales and the price, I think, are the two things that could really mess up.
What's the worst price? Like, what's the price? What's the cutoff for you?
500, probably. Like, I'll go up to 500 easily. I'll think about 550, but if he says 600, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. And then Xbox. What would sell you on an Xbox? Day one.
Nothing. Like that's the thing. I want to say like if they did something dumb and put something exclusive on Series X, but they can't even do that because I have my PC that I'm literally sitting right next to. Like
right.
Everything goes there. Like I'm going to play. I'm probably going to play the campaign of Infinite on my PC. And then, depending on where you guys end up, like, when I say guys, like you and Mark, like, play MC, or, like, the multiplayer, I mean. I might play on my 1S, or I might play on or if crossplay is a thing, I might not even need my 1S, technically.
Or, not to be an asshole, but, like...
xCloud, I keep forgetting about that. Like, September.
That's coming in September, man. Like, you might not need it. It's a wild thing.
But that's and this is the thing, like the showcase was just the exclamation point on all this, but like I happily give Microsoft $180 every year now. Yeah. And
is that what the price is?
That is like one of the easiest subscriptions that I can look at whenever I like go through my bills and be like, oh, it's totally worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, because it's the thing, like, even if I have the moment where I'm like, I should cancel this, I I'm like, yeah, but am I going to spend $60 on Halo? Would I spend $60 on this? And then all the little things in between, the carry-ons of the world, when I was playing Phantasy Star Online 2, the weird little bonus perks I was getting for that, like things like that add up to where that $14 a month, $15 a month is worth it.
Yeah, I never would have played Gears Tactics. And I ended up liking that game. Like, you know, it has problems, but it's overall a good game. So
Yeah,
and like I wouldn't have played The Witcher this year if it wasn't for Game Pass. This week I would have played F1 2018 and probably leads to my 2020 purchase. Like,
yeah.
It's just too good.
Well, that is going to be too good for us, I think. Listeners at home, what are you buying? PS5, Xbox Series X.
Who won?
What did you think of the showcase? Who won E3? Let us know. Podcast at thefreecheese.com. You think we're going to have anything this week, Matt? Any surprises? Any Nintendo Direct Mini again?
I have a feeling we're going to see a couple more minis.
Yeah. I hope
Jeff
so.
Keighley going to hold another DualSense?
Well, this time he's going to hold the Elite Series 2. What else happened this week? You're going to jump into F1 over there, 2018, for a couple days while it's still in Game Pass, and then
probably buy
spend money. Anything else planned game-wise?
I'm probably going to give Super Hot one more good go.
Yeah.
And see if I beat it. And then I'm going to just kind of keep hanging out with my Ghost of Tsushima.
Nice.
Whether it's for an hour at a time or it finally gets its hooks in me, but I will keep at it with that.
Nice. I have no idea. I saw there's some stuff on sale on Switch, but I also have a bunch of stuff that I should be playing. I do want to try and sync up with you and Mark and do some Halo Reach at some point so we can... I want to get to 5. I want you guys to play 5 because it's a different beast. And I don't remember if I like it or not, but I think I did. No, I liked 5 a lot. I did. It felt like 2 again to me. So
yeah, it's cool. I'm kind of getting a Halo itch again, and like I haven't booted up without you guys yet, but I'm almost there. And it's funny, like someone that I play Modern Warfare with, he just said he got MCC. And I was like, oh yeah, let me know when you're playing. I'll do whatever.
Yeah,
I'll do campaign and like multiplayer, whatever you want to do. Just let me know. So
yeah, I've been jumping in like even with or without you guys. I've been doing multiplayer stuff here and there. Just that's been my like regular like. All right, I got 30 minutes before I got to start cooking, or I've got whatever. I'm going to jump in and just do a little bit of multiplayer stuff. So
yeah, I could easily see Halo being this week because the one who I might play it with, that's the one I play the campaigns with as a kid. So we're going to relive all those good memories and stuff like that. So nice.
Yeah. Well, if you like this episode, find the rest of them on thefreecheese.com or wherever you're listening to this when you can find more episodes. We'll be back next week with another one. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening. Wait a second, Twitter. The Free Cheese is at Some Free Cheese. The Matt is at MattyAce131. I am at The Free Cheese. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener.
Be on the lookout for a handle change. It might be Rallyman131. I'll let you know at the end of the week.
Old Rallyman. Chell the Rallyman, I tell you. Live and in person. Thanks, Matt. Bye.